All right. Shalom, everybody. We're in Haftarah Vayyishlach. It's the entire book of Obadiah. If you want to raise your hand or annotate on the screen, here's how you do it. Um, who would like to get us started? Who would like to read first?
Okay.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay. חזון עובדיה, כה אמר אדוני אלוהים לאדום, שמועה שמענו מאת אדוני, וציר בגויים שולח, קומה ונקומה עליה למלחמה.
Kumu venakuma aleha lamilchama. Very good. All right. Chazon Ovadia, that's the introduction. This is a very standard formula. This is the vision of Obadiah. Now, Chazon comes from the root Chet Zain missing Yod. So if you look it up, it would be under Chazah. Funny, Chazah. Anyway, um, and in other Semitic languages, it simply means to see. But in Hebrew, it's taken on this like prophetic vision connotation. So a chazon is the noun deriving from that root. It is the prophetic vision of construct chain Ovadia. What is the meaning of Ovadiah's name?
Servant of God.
Servant of Yah. Yeah.
Hmm. Um, I'm trying to determine whether it is the Oved or if it's an Oved. And the first part here, the Yah part is pretty straightforward. That's God's shortened name. But why the O right here? Usually we think of an Eved, which in construct form becomes Avd, like Avadim. I'm sorry, like um, Avdo, his servant. So you would have expected Avdya instead of Ovadya. So this Ovad makes me think, makes me wonder if it's actually like a participle.
Yeah,
That.
that's what I thought.
I don't know, maybe.
Well,
Otherwise,
then it would be like serving the Lord, wouldn't
right,
it?
the one serving the Lord, right?
Yeah.
Unless it were something like an Oved, and which is different than an Eved. So what's the difference between an Oved and an Eved? Uh, uh, Actually, I don't know. An Ovid. That would be a seglet, but it would be an O or U class vowel seglet.
Actually,
What?
a servant is not necessarily a serving one. You can be called a servant, but not be a serving one. And you can be a serving one and not necessarily be a servant, like with the title. So I don't know. I
Let
think,
me clarify what I mean. If it's a participle, then we should have an oved
right.
like this, which would have originally come from avid. So these vowels look nothing like those vowels. So that's why I
Hmm.
hesitate to say that it's an oved participle. It would make a lot more sense if it comes from maybe an ovid, which is a noun. It's a seglet. Anyway, we know that it has to do with serving, so going with servant of Yah is a pretty good surmise. And Koamar Adonai, you said Elohim, and you're absolutely right. That's what the Masoretic scribes want us to read here, even though that's God's tetragrammaton, his name, Yod He Vav He. How did you know to pronounce it as Adonai Elohim?
How did I know?
Hmm.
Because that's what we were taught.
Because of the Chirik right here.
Mm.
Later on, you see God's name again, but with a kamatz. So the Masoretic scribes have a reduced vowel. Technically, there's also an understood holam up here. Sometimes you'll get the holam, sometimes you won't, and I'll tell you why here in a second. Whereas this one, you have reduced vowel, missing holam, and then kamat. So here, let me start with the one down here. This is the one that shows up the vast majority of the time. This is the vowel pointing of reduced vowel, holam, kamatz, Adonai. Do you see that? These two have essentially the same vowels.
Yeah.
Reduced, cholam, kamatz. Over here, you have the vowels of reduced, cholam, chirik, Elohim. Elohim. So you get
Oh,
reduced vowel, cholam,
Mhm.
chirik. Reduced vowel, cholam, chirik.
Mhm.
So that's essentially, this is like the slam dunk behind disproving that the Masoretic scribes were secretly trying to convey the pronunciation of God's name to us. They weren't. They absolutely were not. They were purposely trying to distort and use a different pronunciation for God's name. In fact, there are what, six? I think six different ways that Yod He Vav He is vowel pointed throughout the Bible. Sometimes it has a reduced segol. Sometimes it has a shva. Sometimes it has a cholam. Sometimes it doesn't have a cholam. But the main difference is whether it has a kamatz under the vav or a chirik under the vav. And that's the differentiation between whether the Masoretes wanted us to say Elohim or Adonai. I said that backwards. Adonai or Elohim. They did not want us to pronounce God's name. And it's as easy as going to, well, Talmudic writing where there's this rabbinic curse for anyone who pronounces God's name as Yod He and Vav He rather than Aleph Dalet Nun Yod.
so
They say it outright.
Mhm.
is there difference between Adonai and Elohim?
Oh, sure, yeah. So
I'm
Adon, the word Adon, just to clarify the words that we're using instead of God's name, or that rabbinically we're supposed to use instead of God's name, but the actual word Adonai comes from Adon, means something like master. I know we usually use the word Lord, but that's kind of an antiquated English word that means master, master of the house, master as opposed to the
yeah.
servant. And then Elohim, mighty one, or possibly one who is deserving of worship, depending on the etymology of the word. Um, Whereas God's name, Yod He Vav He, is the existing one.
Yeah.
And, you know, of course, there's a whole debate over not just whether to, but how to pronounce God's name. It's like, well, and I don't really get caught up with that kind of stuff. I personally, I love to pronounce God's name, but on on a public forum like this, it's like, well, I mean, I don't know, but someone's going to get offended because I say God's name. Anyway,
Yeah.
if you all do it, absolutely no problem. Please, I love, I love, love when people cry to God using His name. Chazon?
So, for what it's worth,
Yes,
I
Tim.
did find the pronunciation in the Talmud last week.
No, you
It's
didn't.
in it's in
Why
Pesachim.
would the Talmud have the pronunciation if the whole
The
point of
rabbis actually give the rabbis actually declare the pronunciation. They tell you how to pronounce the name. It's in Pesachim 50a, 16 through 21 in the Talmud. You can find that on Safari.
Are
They
you going to
actually
tell us,
gave you the
Tom?
vowels.
Tim, are you going to tell us?
Um,
what was their conclusion?
the way that so they tell you where the vav is and that the yod he vav and what the vowel is. It's Yehovah. It's you can pronounce it two ways: Yehovah, Yehovah, or Yehovah, according to that passage.
All
So
right, you
it's
said
Pesachim
oh
50a.
Pesachim, and that's
Pesachim.
in the Babylonian or the Jerusalem Talmud?
I
Probably
believe
probably the Babylonian. I don't know. So put
Mhm.
Babylon Pesachim, and you said it was what section?
50a as in Adam
Okay, because
verses
of
16 through 21.
which is 16 through
16
21. I don't know what the
through
16 through
21.
21 means. So
That's the
50,
verse. The verse is it's lengthy. It's very lengthy.
so 50a is a page. It's page basically as you're flipping through a Talmud, the right-hand page is page A and the left-hand page is page B, and both of those folios are are called page, whatever the number is. So you go to 50, the right-hand side is A, the left-hand side is B. So that's definitely the designation for the Babylonian Talmud, to have an A or a B right there. And from my studies, I don't think that's accurate, and I would wonder if the whole intention of the rabbis to obfuscate God, the pronunciation of God's name, whether they would actually promote or actually divulge the pronunciation. I don't know. I'd have to read it. Thank you for sharing that, so we can all go and look it up and see what it says. Okay, le Edom concerning or for Edom shmu'ah. We see the root shama, to hear, listen, but a shmu'ah is something like a report, or here it calls it a rumor. Hey, did you hear the scoop? Did you get the scoop? Did you hear the news? Did you hear the rumor? The shmu'ah. Shmu'ah shamanu, we heard this rumor. Me'et Yodhei Vavhei Adonai. V'tzir bagoyim. This tzir right here makes me think of the root tur, which has to do with something being like narrow or distress or something like that. But and I don't know. I need to look into it a little deeper, because the whoever this tzir is the one who's been sent to the nations. Well, so that's why they translate it here as an ambassador, and doesn't show up terribly often in the Bible. Kumu v'nakuma. Anybody have any idea what kind of a form, what kind of verb that is?
Wholehearted.
Cohortative. And what does that mean?
It means let us, in that case.
Right. It means that it shows will, desire, volition, but it's first person. So we want to kum. And we can always tell that it's a chordative because it has a yiktol aleph or noon, first person, and a kamatse at the end. Super easy to identify. And think of the song Hava Nagila. That Nagila has the same thing. It has a noon at the front and an ah at the end. So it's like Nagila, let us rejoice. Nakuma, let us rise up. And V'nismecha, and let us, right? That's another part of the song. V'nismecha, and let us be joyful. Anyway, but here it's not joy. V'nakuma aleha la milchama. Let us rise up against her for the milchama battle. So here we have the introduction to Obadiah, the 21 verse long book, which is an oracle against Edom. All right, who would like to read next? Short itty bitty verse.
I'll read.
All right, go ahead, Peggy.
Hine katon nitatika bagorim
Bagoyim.
bazu ata miod.
Meod, bien. Hine katon nataticha, or nitaticha, bagoyim. And that's kind of the halfway point because of that cancellation mark, the etnach. Bazui ata meod. Okay, so we're saying the same thing twice using different words. These are parallel. Hine, kind of a look over here word. We in Old English we call it behold. Katon netaticha bagoyim. Okay, katon is an a-o pattern. A-o, a-o. There's a few words that follow this pattern, a-o. And they're usually colors. Like Adom is what color?
Red.
Red.
Of course. What's green?
Rot. Ja.
Try again.
Yarok.
Yarok.
Ja.
Yarok. Yarok is green. All right. How about blue?
Kahol.
Kahol. You can see all these colors have an O pattern. What about yellow or goldish yellow?
Tahol.
Tahov. All right, so what's going on here? It's kind of like a state of being adjective. So when you see this A-O pattern, think of a state of being adjective. So katon belongs in this group. I know it's not a color, but it is a state of being adjective. Behold, small or insignificant, nitaticha. We can peel away the cha. Who is cha? Or who
You.
are cha? Yes, it's you, speaking to you, O Edom. And so we're left with nitati, which was originally natati. Natati would have a suffix on the end. I set, missing nun, natan. I have placed, set, small. I have set you, there we go, as small, bagoyim, in the or among the nations. Okay, now we're going to say the exact same thing using different words. Bazui, such a fun word to say. What's the root?
Bus.
Azaz?
One, two, three. It's actually regular.
Oh,
In this form, it's
There.
regular. Very rarely do we get to see the third root letter yod. It usually goes missing, right? But in this particular pattern, because of the vav, it remains. So the root would be baz or bet zayin yod, or you would look it up as baza, despised, or to he despised, or yeah, as an active. But this u pattern is a
Passive participle.
passive takal participle. So it's passive. It's been done to. You are despised rather than he did the action of despising. You are despised, ata, me'od, exceedingly. What's the word? Yeah, mightily is probably the best way to originally translate it, but whatever. Greatly, very. Okay. Who would like to read next?
I can.
All right, go ahead.
Zadon libcha hishyecha shchani bechagoe sela merom shivto omer belabo mi yoredeni aretz.
Zedon libecha hishiecha. And then this tells us we've reached the end of a phrase. Shochni bechagvesela merom shivto. There's the halfway point. Omer belibo. There's another same as earlier, a katon. Mi yorideni aretz. The question word right there. And okay, is this first word in the verse in construct form?
wrong.
No.
I think it is.
Okay, so the question becomes if this is a construct form, what's the absolute form? How would this word look differently, or how would it appear different if it were absolute? Well, there would actually be a kamatz right there, zadon. And the fact that it has a shva tells us that it is in construct, and that kamatz drops down to a shva. Zidon libcha, for the pride of your lev or lib, your heart. Hishiecha. What is the root of this hishiecha?
Shin Yod Aleph.
We can definitely peel away the cha. Can we explain away the hey at
Oh,
the front?
that's a he field?
He
Okay.
feel.
All right. And
Okay.
if it's he field, then we expect a chirik here and a chirik there.
Right. So Yod isn't necessarily part of the root.
Mm-hmm. What's the dagesh doing in the shin?
Uh,
Assimilation noon.
Missing noon.
There you go.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
In
So
noon.
there, now you have it. So what you're looking at is a nun shin aleph. This is not nun sin aleph. What is nun sin aleph?
It's not to raise up.
Nasa, to lift, bear, carry. Oops, I put the dot on the wrong side anyway. There we go. Nasa is to lift, bear, or carry. This is not that root. This is very different. Nasha. And to in some context, this was like uh, putting someone in debt to like, yeah, to in debt somebody. But anyway, the point is that it's deception of some kind. Ha, I got you. So the pride of your heart is the one that has gotten you. It has deceived you. Shochni v'chagvesela merom shivto. Looks like these are probably parallel, right? What is this shochni? Any idea? We see the root.
The con.
Shachen, to live or dwell, exactly. What's the O?
Participle.
Yeah, very good. So then what is the chirik yod?
Avani. First person.
Okay, so if it
singular.
makes
Person.
okay, so the chirik yod at the end is very, very frequently the suffix that says it belongs to me. Is that what's happening here? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it makes sense. My dwelling one, my dwelling one, behagvesela. And it almost feels like Obadiah is trying to write in an older poetic way, because Chirik Yod used to be a case ending. The dwelling ones of, but then he puts a
Oh.
but then he puts a right there. Well, if there's a Chirik Yod referring to an ancient case ending, then that means you should have a construct chain and there should be no preposition between it. So it's, I don't know. I don't know what the Chirik Yod is there, but that's what it reminds me of. There are places in the Bible, like in the Psalms, where someone much later on is trying to sound more poetic and like archaic in their writing style, and that's kind of what it reminds me of. Um, but anyway,
Ah,
the dwelling one in the Hagvesela. Now, this root does not show up very much in the Bible, so they kind of have to guess what it means. But because it's the something of the, oh, we know what a Selah is. That's a boulder, a rock. They kind of assume that the definition must be the crag, the crest, the cleft, something like that.
It's in
Instead,
Song of Songs, chapter 2
very good. So you
also.
use the two instances to try to figure out what the meaning of the word is, or you could use sister languages, comparative linguistics, to try to find that root in a different Semitic language and see what it means in that language. It's another way to go about just trying to figure out what these words in the Hebrew Bible that occur rarely mean.
and that word Selah is spelled with a hey in Psalms, Selah, to
Right.
pause in song.
Okay, so that's
But
a
this is
different
Ayin.
Different
that's a
word.
different word. It's a different word.
Yeah.
So the one that shows up in the Psalms apparently is some sort of and look, there's a couple of theories about what it means. Some people say that it probably means some sort of a musical notation, not musical. What's the word I'm looking for? A director's notation, or maybe some sort of a pause, a musical pause, like a, think of like in sheet music. There's a coda, there's a repeat, there's a DC al coda or something like that. It has all of these various instructions, and so the theory is that maybe it's something like that. But usually it's interpreted as something like pause and think about it. Truth be told, I guess nobody really knows what it means. So that's why you have so many theories. In fact, that's usually true. The more theories there are on explaining something, that usually indicates that nobody knows. Whatever. Whereas this is spelled with an ayin, it's a different word, and it is definitely like a boulder or a rock. Mirom shivto. All right, I'm going to ask the question again. Is this a construct form?
Yes.
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 So the original should be marom, like that. And we're done with nasa. Do you guys know any other nouns that have this same pattern? You do, but can you think of them? How about that one?
Makom.
Yeah, everybody knows the word makom. It's
Yeah.
makom, the place, exactly. And so what we're looking at here is probably an original makhal pattern, which in Hebrew very often turns into the mikhal pattern. We know lots of miktals like Mishkan, Migdal, Mizbach, but when there's a hollow root letter, a vav like that, then all of a sudden it becomes makom instead of makwam. I guess that's what it should have been, right? Maybe the original was supposed to be something like makwam, and you can see the wa right there got ironed out. It got turned into an O vowel. Same thing with marom. Instead of mar wom, it just becomes marom. Easier to say. So what is the root of marom?
Room.
Rum, which has to do with
Rum.
exalted, high up. So marom is the place of loftiness, being high up. Marom shivto, the high up place of his
Sitting.
shivt. Yeah, his dwelling. Why they the translation here says to cease. No, it's not. It can't be. It looks like the translation here probably pulled from the root shavat or shabbat, which does mean to cease, but shivto comes from the root yashav.
That
Loftiness
makes
of
more
the head.
sense.
Yeah, this
Sounds a
doesn't make
little
sense.
bit like Shabbat. Like
It's the exact
cease
same
to
root. Yeah,
rest, to rest.
absolutely, the exact same root. So I'm basically I'm. Oh, I wonder. No, no. So okay, so this O right here says 3ms belonging to him. Okay, so dwell in the clefts of the rock, in the loftiness of his dwelling. Omer libo, his heart, or in his heart, is saying, I'm up in the rocks. Mi yorideni aretz. Who me yorid. What is yorid?
To put down, to make go down.
This is a yiktol from the root vav resh dalet, which we know better as yod resh dalet, yarad, to descend. And because of the chirik right there, and actually because of the o vowel, and it lets us know that it's hifil. What? Hifil? Why does hifil have an o vowel? Well, the same reason as the word marom and makom, actually. Here, let me show you. If we take the hifil pattern, which should have a patach, and we put in the root vav resh dalet, and of course you have a chirik right there, what do you get? Yaw read. Yarid. Yarid. What's going to happen to the patach vav? You guessed it. It's going to turn it into a
Yeah.
cholam. Yorid. Exact same thing that happened to marom. So yorid, he will cause to descend. Eni, me. Who will bring me down? Aretz. Ground word. Well, there's no directional hey here, but it's still, I guess, implied. It's an implied adverb. How will he bring me down? Aretz, towards the ground. Voldana, you have your hand up?
Just to read.
Okay, excellent. All right, any other comments on this verse before going to the next one?
One comment.
Mhm.
So you pointed out shwaholam in absolute form. Is it the same? Are we using the same words when we describe that as infinitive absolute versus infinitive construct? So is that in
Ah,
construct form? That
okay.
infinitive construct form?
Okay, so I hear your question. If this were an AO, then it has the same pattern as an infinitive construct, right?
Mhm.
No, infinitive absolute,
Absolute,
absolute, absolute. Yeah,
absolute.
got that backwards. And if there were a schwa there with a cholam, then we think of it as being an infinitive construct. Okay,
Construct.
that is what you're saying is correct. But this right here is a noun. The on, hang on, let me think about this. I'm trying to remember whether the root is primarily Zain Dalet or Zain Dalet Yod or Zain Dalet Vav that turns into, let me look it up. I wonder if it's right here. But what I'm getting at is that the noon at the end is not a root letter. Where is it? Hine Zadon. Let me clear screen so it's not quite so garbled. Comes from Zud. There we go. Let me scooch this over a little bit. According to this dictionary, the root is actually Zain Vav Dalet, and we lose the Vav. Let's see, to boil up, act presumptuously, boil, act proudly, seethe. All right. So therefore, we have what there's a whole history behind it, but basically, what it ends up being is sort of an on prefix, suffix. Does anybody know what a pil is in Hebrew?
Elephant.
Elephant. What is a pilon?
An elephant baby.
It's a little elephant. Yeah, it's a diminutive. So this on does actually show up quite a lot. Well, quite a lot. A fair number of times in the Bible, and then it shows up quite a lot in modern Hebrew as a suffix all its own that refers to a diminutive noun. So this looks like some sort of proto form of that on suffix. It is not a root letter. So therefore, if the noon is not a root letter, then we're not looking at the pattern a-o, which is an infinitive absolute or an infinitive construct in the construct form. This is a noun. Does that make any sense, Tim?
Yes, it does. But I identified the pattern, and I was wondering if we were um, um, bringing the two terms together. They mean the same thing, but they are uniquely separate because,
Right.
as you said, it's a noun.
Exactly, yeah. So the point is that if you have the a-o pattern with the first, second, and third root letters like this, then you should be thinking, that's probably an infinitive absolute. Between you and me, it could also possibly be a state of being adjective, like we saw in katon or adom, and maybe those two ideas are related, but it's hard to tell. So we'll just keep them separate, infinitive versus adjective. And then you
You've
get
got
other
me
words.
thinking.
What?
Pattern is what you got. You've got me thinking
Right.
pattern.
Exactly. But what I mean to say is that it's not just the AO that you're looking for. It's the AO with the first, second, and third root letters in the correct place. Right?
Yes, thank you.
So if noon isn't a root letter, then it can't be
Yeah.
this AO pattern. And then just to, since we talked about the word marom, It has the same A-O pattern too, but now we know why. It has nothing to do with the original A-O pattern. It has to do with an A-A pattern where a Vav got in the way. A Vav got tangled up and it becomes an O vowel. And what should have been a Maktal becomes a Makol, I guess you would call it. Makol pattern, because the Tav is the Vav that gets swallowed up. Anyway, that was a bit wordy. My apologies. Back to here. If there are no other comments on this verse, Voldane had her hand up to read. Would you like to read? Voldane, would you like to read?
Yes, thanks.
Okay, go ahead.
In tag bia ka nesher re'im ben ka kabin sham
Sing.
hineka misham or deka neum hashem.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Im tagbiyah. Why is there a dot in here? Anybody know? Why is there a dot in that hey in tagbiyah?
Consonantal. The consonantal hey.
The
Right, what-
consonantal hey.
Exactly. What could be confused as a final vowel letter hey is actually a consonant. So the scribes put a dot in there called a mapik. So therefore, the root we're looking at is 1, 2, 3. What pattern are we looking at? Tagbiyah.
Does that make that a furtive patak also?
You feel?
It is he feel, and Tim, yes, this is a furtive patach. Under what 3 letters will we ever see a furtive patach?
Yeah, I am.
A, Yod, Ayin.
Het.
Ein, hey, and very good. Het.
Okay.
All right, can you all think of words that have furtive patach with any of these 3
Ruach.
letters? Sorry, what was
Ruach.
it?
Koach.
Okay.
Koach.
There's koach. Koach, ruach.
Ruach.
So that's the het. Here we have,
Yeshua.
okay, very
Yeshua.
good.
Ooh, good one.
Yeshua has a furtive patach. Or Shavua has a furtive patach.
Siach.
Riach?
Siach.
Siach. Siach. Is that like a thorn bush?
Yeah.
Is it spelled with a sin? Siach. Or is it samach or it's a sin, right? Siach.
I think it's right how you did it.
Okay. All right. So that's also chet. All right. The hey, it's going to be a lot harder to find furtive patach hey simply because guttural hey as a 3rd root letter doesn't show up a whole lot in biblical Hebrew. And it does show up, just not that much. And so you get words like what? Tahe, no, taha, gavah,
Noach. No.
what is it? Say again.
Noach.
Na'ah.
Noach.
No.
That's with a chet. That's noah.
Okay.
And well, the most common one that we'll ever see is the root that we saw here, gavah, to be high or high up, exalted. But there are a few others that show up less often. Okay, im tagbiyah. Oh, right. So you all said this is he feel. Tav at the front makes it what person, gender, number? Sorry, I missed it. What?
Second masculine.
Right. It can either be second masculine singular or third feminine singular, but since we're talking to you, O Edom, it's probably not third feminine singular. If you be made high, kanesher. A nesher is some sort of a bird of prey, usually translated as an eagle, sometimes a vulture, whatever. Kanesher, the ka, what does the ka tell us?
as
Comparative, right? Like the eagle. So still on that theme of being high up. Ve'im ben kochavim. And if between the, or
stars.
among the stars, sim kinecha. All right. This kinecha we know better as a ken. What is a ken? Not yet.
Nest.
You're right. Nest, nest. This is not the
Is
word
that
ken.
what is the root for that? Kin.
It would be, well, you tell me.
Keen? Okay, Kinan.
Right. Kuf nun nun.
Dagash. Dagesh.
Dagesh in the noon. So it's kuf
Double
nun
noon.
nun. Very good. And I would also ask the question, what pattern is this word? What mishkal, what noun pattern is it? And because of the chirik there, it actually gives it away. It's it's the so-called kittul pattern.
Kittul.
So think of words like sefer, a book, or a scroll document, or a beten, or a ken, a nest. All of these words have something in common. In their construct forms, there's a chirik under the first root letter, and that betrays the original pattern of the word. So how do you say his sefer?
Sifro.
Very good. So we're going to see the original pattern come back up with a chirik here, sif, like that, and then you put the suffix, ro. How do you say his belly?
No.
Very good, same thing. So the artificial segols are going to disappear and the original chirik comes back like this, beaten, and then you add the suffix, beat, no. So all three of these belong to the itul pattern, which is also written in English as itul, like that. Which
Are
is a
they
seglet.
seglets?
They are seglets. They're seglets with the original chirik vowel, yes.
Okay.
All right. And I guess the word ken also belongs to it. Kaf nun nun, but that has to do with something established, not with a nest. And if among the stars seem, what kind of what form is this? I mean, we know the root seem to put, set, or place, but that's not a completed action, is it?
Is it like a participle?
No, that would be
Sorta.
sam. It would have to be sam if it were a participle.
Okay.
The yod or vav in the
It's
middle.
almost like a
Yep. Right there.
like imperative.
Imperative. It looks exactly like an imperative. I guess it could also technically be a infinitive construct, lasim. But anyway, the action of setting your nest, set your nest, or set among the stars your nest, or to set your among the stars your nest. Misham oridcha. So we got the cha. What's orid? We just saw yorid. Now we see orid.
Yikto.
So this is an aleph prefixing yiktol letter. So I will, and there's that yarad again in the hithil. I will cause to descend you. I will bring you down. Ne'um Adonai, oracle of the Lord. Oracle of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. Anatoly, you have, what was that?
No, I just Neum Adonai. It's a declaration.
Declaration, right?
That's the Lord's. And I'd like to read it.
Yeah, you had your hand up. Please go ahead.
Okay. Im Kanabim Bau Lecha Im Shodadei Laila Ech Nidmeita Halo Ig Nebu Dayam Im Butsurim Ba'ulach Halo Ishiru Ole Lot.
Very good. Im ganavim ba'ulcha. And that right there is sort of a bit of a disjuncting translation mark. Im shodade laila. This one is definitely a disjuncting mark. Ech nidmeta. Halo yignevu dayam. Im botzrim ba'ulach. Halo yashiru olelot. All right, so we've split this up according to the cancellation marks, and it's it's, so God's like, or Obadiah / God is like building up this argument. Okay, if thieves would come to you, there's that word ganav. Someone, the pattern of this word is someone who is known, does or is known for doing something, right? So ones who steal. In ganavim ba'u lecha, if they were to come to you, im shodade laila, saying the same thing twice, so this is parallel with that. Robbers by night. Then the question comes. Here's your question word. Ech, how nidmeta. All right, so this word probably has to do with being made silent, and by extension, being cut off. That's the theory. Some people say it's two different, what do you call those? Polysemy? No, polysemy? I don't know how to pronounce it. It's when a root has two different definitions versus there being two different roots. So it looks like one root with two different definitions. Dama to be silent or dama to be cut off. Why is there a noon in the front?
Is that cohortative?
Oh, I see why you would say that, because a noon at the front and a kamate at the end. Actually, no. I'm afraid not. It has to do, okay, can we identify the root?
Yeah.
It's dama or dalet
Dalet
mem yod.
mem tav?
Can't be a tav. Let's see.
Dalet mem yod.
It is dalet mem yod. I'm just trying to figure out why it can't be the tav. I know what I want to say, but I'm trying to prove that the tav could not be a root letter.
Is it Nepha?
Right. In order to account for the noon at the front, the noon chirik at the front, and the kamatse at the end, and four letters being in the middle, we don't have a lot of options. We don't really have a tzere yod infix. I mean, sometimes we'll have a he field, but if it's a he field, then we can't have a chirik at the front. So the chirik yod, the tzere yod here is actually the root letter. So now we have to deal with both a tav and kamatse. In fact, it's all one suffix. This is the katal 2ms suffix tav that we usually just see as tav with a kamatz. You did it, but here a hey shows up. Okay, well that's not odd. That shows up a lot in the Bible, especially in later biblical Hebrew. So therefore if this is a katal suffix, then what is the nun chirik at the front? It can be none other than nifal.
Nepha.
So why then do we have a tzere yod? Shouldn't it be ea, like the donkey sounding pattern? Well, yeah, but the yod messed it up. So instead of nidmaita, that's too hard to say. It turned into nidmeta. So here we have another example of what should have been being affected by a yod or a vav. And so we have a nifal, 2ms, from the root to be silent or cut off. You are cut off, or you have been cut off.
So is this some special suffix?
No.
No.
It's just we're not used to seeing it. Let me put it that way. We're not used to seeing the tav kamathe as a 2ms katal suffix. Just seeing, in fact, usually there's a dagesh in it. Ta, you did it, right? 2ms. But here we have a yod before it, so we don't get the dagesh. And this ta sound does end in a vowel, so there are plenty of places, at least, and at the very least in late biblical Hebrew, where they stick a mater hey at the end. because there's an ah sound.
Thank you.
Much like Lila, like up here, right? But that's directional. Anyway, so you have been covered. Halo yignevu dayam. All right. Die die yenu, die die yenu, die die yenu, die yenu, die yenu. Okay, does anybody recognize that song?
Yeah.
It's the Passover song that talks about if only God would have brought us out of Egypt, that would have been enough. If only God gave us the Torah, that would have been enough. If only God gave us the Shabbat, that would have been enough. But he kept giving us more and more and more. Okay, it would have been enough is the word dayenu. Enu, us, it would have been enough for us. Die. So dai means to be enough. So what is dayam? It's there being enough. It's their fill. It would have been enough for them. If robbers came, if thieves would come, would they not have stolen just enough? Usually they don't clean everything out. They just take the things they want and then they run and they leave some things behind. Im botzrim ba'ulach, if grape gatherers came to you, halo yashiru, would not they cause to remain? Wouldn't they leave olelot, like gleanings?
Gleanings. Yeah.
Like they wouldn't take every single last grape. There would be something left, right? Okay, now God's setting him up because he's about to say, but who wants to read this short verse? Go ahead, Eileen. Oh, yeah, you have your hand up, please.
Okay. Ach ne apeshu isha ishav
Esav, right?
ne ba u
Ooh.
ma sa fu nan
Vav at the end. Matsunav.
matsunav
Punav. The root of matsunav appears to be Tari Pe Nun. Anybody know any words from Tari Pe Nun? Cheryl, if you're saying something, I can't hear you. You're muted. On.
Billy Bitsafanti, that verse about hiding the word of God in your heart.
Okay, so tsafan is the root used for hiding. Anybody know tsafon?
Zephaniah.
Right, very good. So tsfonya would be, I guess, the hidden things of Yah, Fonya. So what is tsafon?
North.
Ah, what does north have to do with hiding?
Nothing?
Well, it's a good guess. Remember, Tsafon is the Mount Olympus of the ancient Near East. It's where the pantheon of gods dwells in the ancient Near East. So all those gods are kind of hidden away up in that mountain up in Turkey.
Yeah.
Mount Tsafon. Now, because the mountain is in the northern part of the ancient Near East, that's how it came to be known as northward, because of the mountain where all the gods are hidden away or hiding away. And oh, right. I don't think I want to bring that up. I was going to say that
yeah, my conscience. Matspun. Matspun is conscious.
fun,
Conscience.
the hidden away things. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. I was going to say how Joseph's name might have had the word Safan or the root Safan in it. His new name that was given to him by Pharaoh, But then later, somebody wrote an article about how it could have derived, how it probably derived from Egyptian. It made a whole lot more sense. I'll have to look into that again to remember what that was. Ech nechpasu. What is nechpasu?
What is nech? It's Nephal again, isn't it?
The Nephal again. Good. So why is it segol instead of chirik?
Ech.
Because
It's
of the guttural?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Usually when a guttural comes, it'll change it either to a patach or a segol, depending on what the original vowel was. So if we expect the original vowel to be a chirik, but there's a guttural, then it turns into segol. And so there we're looking at the root
chapes.
sin, chapes. In modern Hebrew, it's lechapes. It's in the PL mostly. The chapes is to find something.
Look for something.
Chapes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Does anybody know the word hit chapes?
Mm-mm.
Hit chapes means to dress up in a costume.
Tachposet.
Yeah, tachposet. Very good. Tachposet is the same root. But here we're looking at a Nephal. They they have been searched out, I guess. Who has been searched out? Esau. How Esau has been searched out. Niv'u. Now this is from the root bet ayin missing yod. It's the same root where we get ba'aya, problem. And but the root bet ayin yod had more to do with seeking or searching originally. And so niva'u is again nifal, something that is sought. Matzpunav, his plural hidden things, or as you said in modern Hebrew, conscience. Because God's about to drop a bomb here. Adha, is this the one? Standing on his will. Might be the next verse. Who wants to read this one?
I'll read.
Tuesday, go ahead.
Ad hagivul shilechucha kol anshe viriteha hishiucha yah yachilu lecha anshe shilomecha lach lachmecha yashimu
Yasimu.
yasimu mazor tachtecha ein tivuna bo.
Very good. Ad hagvul shilchucha. All right. So here's our verb. Shilchu, that is what, Binyan?
Yeah.
El, because of the chirik and the dagesh. So they drove out or sent away, cast out, cast you out. Ad hagvul, all the way to the border, they have cast you out. Whom? Kol, or who did it? It's either who did it or whom did they cast out, right? And because of the cha right here, I think it's a restatement of the you. Kol anshe britecha, all of the men of your covenant, right? Brit. Hishiucha. Okay, there's another hifil. Not another. I mean to say there's another verb with a cha in the end. They did it, but it's a hifil. And again, with that nun shin aleph, they have deceived you. Yachlu lecha. What does this mean? Yachlu lecha. We know yachol means to be able, right? But yachlu, it can also mean to prevail, like to win against someone. Think about David and Goliath. And Goliath is like, if your warrior defeats me, well, the word defeat there is really like yachal or yachol, to be able, well, to be able, like to be better than, to prevail. So that's what we're looking at here, to prevail against you. Who? Anshe shlomecha, the men who were at peace with you. Okay, so now that means that means we're looking at the who did it. Ah, okay, so therefore let me just fix this. That was not correct. The kol anshe britecha is actually the subject of shilichu. All the men that are supposed to be in covenant with you, they're the ones that pushed you out to the border. And all the men who are supposed to be at shalom, peace with you, are the ones who prevailed and deceived you. Oof, bummer. And then lachmecha, your bread, yasimu. Wait a second. Why is the word bread here? Lachmecha. How does that fit into the context? Hmm.
It almost seems like because of what they say, Mazor is um like a trap or something.
Okay,
Um,
I'm okay with that.
that they're the kindness of the bread given is actually insincere and it's a trap
Oh, almost
under them.
like a
That's
bait.
kind of how I thought of it.
Ah, okay.
Because they're deceiving.
Right, they're being so it's a bait. They're baiting
Yeah,
them with
yeah.
with food. Haha, that's something. Okay, so this word mazor looks like the same pattern as we saw with makom and with marom. So what's the
Katon.
root?
Four.
Zion,
Zur, exactly. And does that look strange to you? Pun intended. Okay, does anybody know the word zar? Zar means
Strange.
strange. Yeah, exactly. Zar is the adjective that comes from zur, to be strange. So a mazor or mazor might have something to do with that, but nobody really knows how to translate it perfectly. So what you could do is go over to the Septuagint where it calls it an ambush.
Mhm.
So maybe it's an ambush of some kind. So bread they have laid, and then we could put here as a mazol tachtecha, as an ambush underneath you. Oh man, or a trap, right? En tevuna bo. There is not, there is no understanding in him. Okay, in him. What's the him referring back to? Back to uh,
Edom.
Edom, because Edom has been called ha 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 in all of these instances. It's referred to you. So Edom should be second person. So why all of a sudden is there a 3ms? I wonder if it's in the action that they're doing. Like nobody perceived, nobody understood what was going on here with these men that are supposed to be at peace with us, baiting a trap and ambushing us, or say us, as in like Edom. So maybe the O is not referring to Edom, it's referring to the things that these people did. Nobody understood it. All right. Who
Can
wants?
we look at one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
Notice that the English version they have all the men. So you have kol anishi anshi,
Unshay.
which that dot on the shin could you could deceptively use that as a holum anushi. But we have all the men, so we have all. So we have do we have ani and ish ishi nishi? So
Um,
we have a construct form with just anshi. Right?
right. Unshay britecha is definitely construct. Uh,
Um,
this kol, if it were in construct with that, should have probably dropped to a kamatz katan. Why it didn't, Who knows? Unless we have
So
like, go ahead.
the word that is working with that would not be coal, but actually the word after it of your confederacy.
Right. So the all is either going to be a standalone, as in who did this action of bringing you to the border? All. That is the men who are supposed to be in covenant with you. Or if
That's
we're
right.
supposed to understand this as a construct, and it probably should have been a kamatz katan like that, then now we have a double construct, all of the men of your confederacy, your covenant.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't properly divide the phrase. That's what got me. Okay. Thank you.
Who wants to read next?
I'll read.
All right, super.
Halol bayom ha'u ne'um hasham veha bardeti ha-kamim me'e dom ut-bu-na mehar esar.
Very good. So there's that that tvuna again that we saw here in the previous verse, showing up in the next verse. Halo bayom hahun umadonai. So here's that negative question word. Is it not, or shall I not, or somebody will not? Bayom hahu, on the day that one, declaration of the Lord. V'ha'avadti chachamim me'edom. All right, so here's our verb. How do I know that's the verb?
The ending.
The ending, very good. So now let's parse it out. The T, the Hey, the Vav.
To Vekata.
Good. And because it has a T suffix that tells us it's 1CS, because it has the stress with a Vav at the front, both of those things tell us that it's Vekatal. So we're going to translate it as as an incompleted. The Hey tells us
Hethia.
eel, causative, and the root is
Avad.
okay. This is not serving avad, but rather perish, avad. So cause to perish. I will cause perishing. To whom? Chachamim. So I will destroy the wise of, or the wise belonging to, or out of. Oh, well, there's a mem right there. So it's out of, from Edom.
Edom.
Okay, there's a katon, so that's going to be a break right there. Utvuna mehav esav. So here we get another, what do you call it, ellipsis. This verb applies to the phrase here and to the phrase there, because there's no verb in this phrase. Utvuna mehav esav. And understanding from the mount of Esau. Where's the verb? You have to apply it from the previous phrase. And I will destroy understanding from the mountain of Esau. And again, that's saying the same thing twice, right? I will destroy the wise. I will destroy understanding. They're parallel. From Edom and Mount of Esau, those are the same. Those are our parallel terms. Ooh, okay. V'chatu giborecha teman למען ייקר את איש מהר עשיו מקטל. All right. This is a little hard to parse out. And actually, that might be the only one. So let's save it for last, maybe. No, let's do it first. Okay. V'chatu. What can we do with this verb? Help me parse it out. Help me describe it with grammatical terms.
Chatat. Would it be an
Vekata.
definite root?
Right, vekatal. Anything else? Person, gender, number, binyan,
Yeah,
Three and
but
S.
Three common
and
plural.
singular.
three. Well,
P.
there's an oo at the end, right?
Mhm.
Oh,
Three and P.
So
three common singular.
no, it has to be masculine.
Plural.
It has to be
Oh,
masculine plural. The oo at the end. Okay, let's go. The oo at the end is either a katal 3MP, or it could be an imperative 2MP. Anything else? I feel like I'm missing one. Oh, well, it could have a oo at the end if it's a yiktol, but then it would need a yod at the front. So basically, it has to be one of these two, either a katal 3MP or an imperative 2MP. Which one is it? Because for
Fata.
yeah,
3MP.
yeah, the answer, I think the answer is that it has to be 3MP katal, or actually ve katal because of the vav at the front. But if we were to let's just thought experiment here for a second. Suppose this is an imperative oo. What would the root then be? You see what I'm asking? Let's assume for a second that it is an imperative. It's not, but let's assume it is. So the oo here is telling us that it's an imperative 2MP. Then how would we parse out the rest of the word? In what binyan, in what form is there an imperative that has a patach right here? PL, right?
Patach.
So we have a patach and a
Oh,
dagesh
patach the
that could have
gesh.
been a PL imperative if the root were
Chat.
it would be chet tav missing yod, like chata or something like that. But it's not. You're right. It's a katal. They are the subject. Vav at the front makes it a vekatal. So what binyan are we then looking at? It's not a PL.
Ka.
It's a cow. So why does it look so goofy? Why does it have a
So
patach
that's a
there? Why is it so goofy?
5.
CP. Who said Tuesday said it's a 3CP, isn't it? With
Well, because
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
yeah,
boy. You're
yeah.
so right. You're so right. It is CP. What
She
is
thank
was right.
you. I was
Yes,
gonna
you are
ask.
completely vindicated. Absolutely correct. It's a 3CP. All right, so it's Kal Katal, or excuse me, Vekatal. Kal Vekatal 3CP. So my question is, why does it look so goofy? When do we see Kal or Kal Katal with a Patach and a Dagesh?
Is it because it's iron?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the second and third root letter are the same, that's causing us the problem. So we could look at an analogous word like sabu. What is sabu or sabu?
Savavu.
Around.
It's basically savavu. Exactly. They went around and the two bets collapsed together. So the same thing's happening here. Good. And so they shall. Het tav tav is one of those words that shows up in Joshua, the book of Joshua, where God says, "Do not be, was it like, don't be afraid and don't be dismayed, but rather be strong and courageous." So the "don't be dismayed" part is this root, het tav tav.
I found crumbled with fear in one of the
Ah,
definitions.
that's awesome. Crumble with fear. So the giborecha are the ones who are crumbling with fear and being dismayed. Does anyone know what the root of gibor actually means? Gimel bet resh.
Gavar.
It's not just being male. Like a gever in modern Hebrew is a male as opposed to a female. But what does it actually mean?
Is it a
Like a
mighty
hero.
man?
Yeah, it's like overcoming, warrior,
Yeah.
to
Hero.
Warrior
victorious,
overcomer.
something like that. Yeah. So the
Giborim.
are the victorious mighty men who are hatat. They're just crumbling in fear and dismayed. And then we have O Teman. They put it here, the word O, because it's supposed to be vocative. I'm speaking to you, Teman. So apparent, where is Teman? What is Teman? In modern Hebrew,
Yemen.
Yeah, in
Yemen.
modern Hebrew, it's Yemen. So it's basically south of Israel, which is, I don't know, more or less the area of where Edom lives, I guess. So I guess he's calling out one of the cities of Edom because down here we get Har Esav. So if these two are parallel, then maybe Teman is referring to a place where Esau is from. Lema'an yikaret ish. What is yikaret?
Ikaret.
To cut off.
That's
Very good.
karat.
Cut.
Karat. Like think of karate.
Karat.
And we have a trifecta. Ia.
Ikaret Nifal.
Nepal.
Nifal. It's a yiktol nifal. Very good. So he will, nifal, be, kaf resh tav, cut off. Who will? Ish. They have the word every
Everyone.
here. The idea is that every one of them, every man, meharesav, from the mountain of Esau, mikatel. Ooh. I want to talk about this. Mikatel. Help me understand what's going on with this word mikatel.
Qatar.
Causal.
Is it a participle?
Not a participle.
No.
It's in pausal form, yes.
Causal. Okay. What can we peel away?
The men
Yes. So the men
from is the
here at
preposition.
Dagesh is the from prefix. So we're looking at the word katel, which is pausal form for the word
Qatar.
Kill.
Killing.
ketel. Ketel.
Ketel.
Ketel.
Ketel. Think of like in the Bible when it talks about melech, 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 malech. That's pausal form, right? So this is ketel, 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 katel. So this is the actual Hebrew word kuf tet lamed, from which we get all of the grammatical terms like katal and miktal and ketel and katel and kittel and kotel and the kuf tet lamed. This is the actual word from which it comes. And it's a shame that it has such a grim meaning, but anyway, they are cut off mikatel, from slaying, from killing. Yep. Sad story. But why is all this going to happen to Esau? I hope we get into the rest of the verse and we can see that. And who wants to read this one?
I'll read.
All right, go ahead, Voldane.
Mehamas Ahika Ya Sakov
Ya'a. It's an ayin. Yaakov.
Yaakov Te Kasaka Bor Shah Veinik Rakta Le Or Lam.
Very good. Okay, so this is starting to give the reason for why God and Obadiah are speaking so harshly against Esau and Edom. Mechamasachicha Yaakov Techascha busha or vusha. Sorry, there's a vowel right there, so we don't get a weak dagesh. Techascha vusha v'nichrata le'olam. All right. Anybody know what Hamas is?
Yeah, violence.
Violence.
From violence or because of violence.
Your brother.
Against
Your
your
brother.
brother. Which brother? Yaakov.
Yeah.
Techascha. Okay, so the cha is 2ms. We're speaking to whom?
You.
Specifically, though, who is the you?
Edom.
Right,
Edom.
Edom. Good. So then we've got a tav at the front. Tav at the front can be either 2ms or 3fs. Which one is it?
2ms.
Mm,
Jacob shall cover Shem.
here's your subject.
Shall cover you. Jacob.
Okay, so the Achicha and Yaakov, those
Jacob.
are position. That's just saying your brother, Jacob. So these two are one and the same. This is grammatically, these belong together.
Yeah, shame will
Shame
cover
is
you.
There you go.
Yeah.
the
Usha is
subject of
Yes.
cover.
so it's going to be 3FS.
3FS.
Usha shall cover you. V'nichrata le'olam.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. There you go. So you have the EA right there. So that means we're looking at a Nephal noon.
Yeehaw.
There's the first root letter, second root letter, and where's the third root letter? Here, let me clear the screen.
Okay.
Say again.
It's in the dagesh.
It's in the dagesh, exactly. Look, there's a short vowel right here. And, well, it doesn't matter what length it is. I shouldn't have said it that way. There is a vowel here, which means this tav is strong. Split it right down the middle. So here's your first, second, and third root letter. So that means there's both a katal 2ms suffix and the 3 root letters and the nifal nun. And there's a vav at the front, so we have to consider whether it will be vekatal, and they haven't been cut off yet, so we should assume that this is future tense, and so we're going to call it
Vekatal.
vekatal 2ms nifal to be cut off. You shall be cut off le'olam, to a vanishing point, right? As far as we can see, alam.
Many people in Israel have associated these last two verses with October 7th.
But
It's hard not to.
Oh, right, because of the ones who are fleeing and Edom
And Hamas.
after and Hamas, exactly. Oof. All right, who shall read next?
I'd like to go again if I could.
Yeah, of course.
Vayom amadta, Vayom amadta, amadcha, mineged, Vayom shivot, zarim chelo, v'nachrim ba'u. We got a kativ kare here. Okay. She'arav ve'al Yerushalayim yadu goral gam ata ke'achad mihem.
All right, I'll give you a second chance on this word right here.
Oh, nochrim. Nochrim.
You got it. All right, there's a pesky kamat katan there. B'yom amadcha mineged, b'yom shvot zarim chaylo, v'nochrim ba'u sha'arav, v'al Yerushalayim yadu goral, gam ata ke'achad mehem. All right, so b'yom amadcha, on the day of, I would not have expected this. Amadcha. With it spelled this way, amadcha, I would have expected it to mean he stood you, rather than an infinitive, the standing that belongs to you. I would have expected omdcha or something like that, or amodcha. So I think this is probably either nothing against the Masoretes. They made plenty of mistakes, even though what they did was fantastic. I would have expected this to either have an O right there, or better yet, put a kamat katan over here, omdecha, your standing. On the day of your standing, mineged, which just means like, I think it means something more like just standing aside, not necessarily being on the other side, but rather just like standing aside, kind of like a spectator, just someone watching rather than getting involved and helping. Like you see a crime in front of you, and how many people stand around and go, "Oh, look," instead of actually helping. I wonder, on the day that you stood around, B'yom Shvot Zarim Chaylo, on the day of, what is Shvot? Tim knows. Shvot.
Captivity.
It's a
Carried off.
infinitive construct of Shin Bet
Oh.
Yod. Captivity, exactly. So the captivity of Zarim. So the Zarim are the ones who are taking captive whom? Chaylo. His might, forces, army. On the day that strangers were taking captive his forces. V'nochrim ba'u, and foreigners, strangers were coming, entering. Sh'arav. Okay, so this is the idea of O Edom, you were standing around when these foreigners came and took them away. Who is the them or the his? Like when it says Sha'arav, whose gates are we talking about? Specifically, Israel's. This is chronicling the
Jacob.
Babylonian exile when the foreigners, the Babylonians, took his forces, Israel's, Jacob, Judah, or Judea, whatever, and you, O Edom, were just standing around. But not just standing on, not just standing around. I shouldn't say it that way because they were actually actively working against those who were fleeing. So maybe they were waiting on the other side. Oy, oy, oy. Va'al Yerushalayim yadu goral. So they were, what's the root of this word? Yadu. Atu.
Yad.
Atu. Exactly. It's yod dalet dalet. Yadad. The same as what we saw earlier with the chatu, or the example I gave, sabu. It's ein. It's a geminate root. Yadad, to cast dice, to cast lots, or cast. I guess they would have been something like bones or something, to basically like casting dice for us today. But the goral, they were casting lots over Jerusalem. Gam ata, and you, in other words, you is referring to Edom, ahad mehem, you were just like one of them. You're just as guilty, just standing aside instead of helping out, or maybe an accomplice. As we continue to read, of course, we're out of time. Oive. Va'al tere v'yom achicha v'yom nochro va'al tismach livnei Yehuda b'yom ovdam va'al tagdel picha b'yom tzara. All right, this is a negative imperative. Al tere. Don't look. Resh aleph missing yod. Remember because of the al, we know that it's jussive. And because it's jussive, it's going to be a shortened apocryphated form. That's why there's no hey or yod right here. Instead of tere, instead of tir a, it becomes tere. So you should not have looked. V'yom achicha, on the day of your brother. V'yom nochro, on the day of his estrangement. Think of something like that. This is a infinitive construct with a kamatz katan. V'al tismach, and don't be glad, don't rejoice. Livnei Yehuda, over the sons of Judah. B'yom ovdam. So here's another infinitive construct. The day of their perishing, destruction. Va'al tagdel, and don't cause gadol. Don't cause yourself to be great. Don't be proud, haughty. Picha, with your mouth, b'yom tzara, on the day of distress. So apparently they were doing all of that. So here's adjussive, there's adjussive, and
Careful with that milk, Nehemiah.
Negative adjussive. Man, how close are we to the? We're not even halfway, are we? Too bad. Al tavo v'sha'ar ami. Don't enter, or you shouldn't have entered, into the gate of my people. B'yom Edam. What is the root of Edam?
Adam.
Mm-mm.
Is it id?
Yeah,
Oh,
Edom?
id, and then the says it belongs to them. So this word id is not terribly common word, but it means calamity on the day of their calamity, and then it shows up several times. Shows it edo, yeah, 3 times here. And altere, you shouldn't have looked. Gamata, even you. Bera'ato. I don't know if I should. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and ask. What is the root of bera'ato?
Ra. Ra'a.
Dash ein hey.
Ra'e.
Another Geminate.
Oh, two
Ra'a.
So what's the hay doing there, or what's the tav doing there?
It belongs to him or their rato. It
Oh no, no,
belongs
no, no.
to
So the
the
o. Okay, so the o is the suffix, but what's the tav doing? If I'm letting you know that the root is resh nine. So what's
Is it feminine?
yeah? So it's turning the noun feminine. So think of chokhmah, right? What's the or the chokhmato? What's the tav doing? It's just the feminine. That's all. But it has to do with something bad or evil. It's the ra'ah.
this is construct.
How come we don't get a dagesh in the ayin to represent both ayins? Because of the ayin.
Guttural.
Guttural. And bera'ato in his or their affliction, b'yom edo, in his day of his calamity. Va'al wait a second. Va'al tishlachna b'chelo b'yom edo. Wait a second. Tishlachna. This I find funny. Tishlachna. What? Okay, let's just talk about this for a second. Tav at the front, na at the end. What does that look like?
It looks like
feminine
feminine
plural.
plural.
Feminine plural.
Hey, you ladies, don't send b'chelo b'yom edo.
But that's not what it is.
I don't, I don't, I don't think it can be. I mean, why would we have second person, second person, and then all of a sudden, sorry, 2ms, 2ms, and then all of a sudden, 2fp? It doesn't make sense. Is it because God's speaking to maybe the ladies who are laying up? I don't know. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking that it is. I wonder if this na should have been a separate na particle.
I wondered that too.
And because this is later biblical Hebrew, we see a lot of swapping between aleph and hays. So this would basically be a grammar mistake. But it seems like it would make more sense to turn that into the na particle, and so we have another 2ms. You should not have laid or sent away, right? Tishlach.
So would you call it a second person singular Joseph in that case?
Well, because of the owl, we can be certain that it's Joseph. The only question is whether it's a 2fp or whether this na is something else, and it should be a 2ms.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. B'chelo. Oh, their strength. So it's calling it possessions, but chel is strength, right? Army strength. But you shalach. I'm not sure. I really like this. You sent shalach. Yeah, you sent his army. B'yom edo. That one's a little hard for me to translate from the Hebrew. My apologies.
You dressing, you came. You're not dressed.
All right. All right. Well, it is getting late. My family's going to be home soon, so I should probably go ahead and wrap it up. This was a lot of fun. Thank you all so very much for coming and studying Hebrew. I hope you all had a wonderful week this week. At least those of you in the States with Thanksgiving. Look forward to seeing you all next week. For the
It was okay.
Shalom.
Thank you.
Tודה רבה, להתראות
Bye.
לכולם.
Shalom. Bye.
שלום.
Shalom.